Water, the essence of life. In Bella Vista and Northwest Arkansas, we are fortunate to have an abundance of this precious resource. We use it every day for drinking water and recreational opportunities. We probably take it for granted, but where does it come from? Today it comes from Beaver Lake, but until 1966, the source of water for Bella Vista was underground springs that fed into a tank, or two or three. We had three in Bella Vista, and that water was very precious, so these rules were posted in many places in Bella Vista as a reminder to not waste water. I'm Carol Phillips. Let's learn about our water supply, our watershed, and the people and organizations that monitor and preserve our water. Let's go outside. Today we're with Erin Scott, Senior Policy and Programming Director for H2 Ozarks. What is your role at H2 Ozarks?
My role at H2 Ozarks has kind of evolved over time, thinking about how our mission, which is to protect and improve water quality throughout the Ozarks of Arkansas and Missouri, to think about how we can fulfill that mission. And so I'm thinking about working with landowners, working with partners, thinking about what type of programming and education and things like that we can put into place to fulfill that mission of protecting and improving water quality. I have to applaud my fantastic staff because they're really the ones doing the day-to-day, on-the-ground work.
And all those things are related to our drinking water, correct?
Absolutely. Everything that happens on the landscape is going to end up impacting our water resources, whether it's the creeks and streams that feed off the landscape and ultimately go into Beaver Lake, our drinking water supply.
And the water that goes into Beaver Lake, the flow of water, I guess through gravity, is a part of a watershed.
So let's talk about watersheds. Simple definition is a watershed is all the land that drains to a particular point on a stream or a river or even a lake. And so we're at Lake Windsor here right now, so we're in the Lake Windsor watershed. Everything that happens upstream from this is going to end up impacting this lake. Watersheds come at different layers or levels. So Lake Windsor, Elk River watershed, all three of these watersheds in Northwest Arkansas, the Elk, Illinois, and Beaver, could also be considered a single watershed or drainage area because we're all in the Mississippi River Basin. And so that means everything that happens on the land within each of these three watersheds ultimately ends up in the Gulf of Mexico. So we're all kind of in one watershed together. But being able to think about these in terms of smaller areas helps with understanding certain challenges that these different areas might face and viable solutions for management.
Speaking of solutions, you also work with the Beaver Watershed Alliance. Mm-hmm. Tell me more about that.
I serve on the board of directors for the Beaver Watershed Alliance and working with them on different programming activities and education and outreach initiatives to kind of have a consistent sort of story that we share with the public to get us all on the same page towards protecting and improving water quality in Beaver Lake.
Is there an opportunity for volunteers?
We do different cleanups throughout the year. Our big one is Beaver Lake Volunteer Day, and so that happens in October. We do have a volunteer program called Stream Smart that's really valuable. Stream Smart volunteers collect water quality data. So they go out and monitor 4 times a year at various sites. We've got 15 sites right now throughout the Beaver Lake watershed. And so they're out there collecting samples, taking note of their site so that we can understand how things are changing or not changing over time.
Is there anything else you can think of that you could share with us?
Yeah, so when I think about the work that we do at H2 Ozarks and other, other organizations in the area, and thinking about the ultimate mission to protect and improve water quality. So we really want high quality waters for drinking water, but also for recreation, right? Whether you are out fishing or floating or wading, we really need high quality waters for that. And one thing when we think about a watershed and how a watershed impacts the actual water, the river or the lake throughout Northwest Arkansas, regardless of which watershed you're in, there's just so much that you can do. Get outside, enjoy the water, and just keeping in mind that for our future, as we want to enjoy our water resources, everybody has an opportunity to influence our water quality in a positive way.
Well, Erin, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you very much,
We
Carol.
appreciate it, and continue the good work.
We will do that.
Thank you. Well, it's another wonderful, cold, clear day in Northwest Arkansas. And today we're going to go over Beaver Lake, or Beaver Reservoir, as it's officially known, by the numbers. The dam was created in 1960 and it was completed in 1966. The dam was created for flood control, for hydropower, for public water supply, and a lot of recreation. Their surface area is 28,000 acres with 449 miles of shoreline. The maximum depth is 203 feet at the dam. The average water temperature is 50.9 degrees, typically year-round. And 4.2 million people visit, with $128 million in revenue every year. Beaver provides drinking water to over 600,000 people in Northwest Arkansas, and that of course includes Bella Vista. And I think our next guest we're going to interview is here. So we're going to go talk to someone who was very important in preserving and protecting our water supply. We're so happy to be out in this chilly, not even chilly, really cold morning in Northwest Arkansas at Beaver Lake. This is the lake we've spoken so much of about being the source of our water supply. And with us is Becky Roark, who is the director of the Beaver Watershed Alliance. Ms. Becky, tell us what you do.
Well, thanks, Carol, for having us out here today on this beautiful fall morning out here by Beaver Lake. And it's just so beautiful here. So excited to get to talk a little bit more about the lakes. I help run the Beaver Watershed Alliance. We're a nonprofit organization working to help protect this resource and all the waters and lands that drain into it. And a big reason that we want to take care of this is because it is our region's drinking water source for now 1 in 6 or 1 in 5 Arkansans. So it's a big, vital resource for Northwest Arkansas. And the Alliance was really formed back in 2009. So the Northwest Arkansas Council got together and they wanted to form a plan to protect this lake. So they put together that plan, and part of that was to have an organization that would take care of it and protect the lake and its watershed. So that's where the Beaver Watershed Alliance started.
So if a landowner contacts you about an erosion problem or an invasive species problem, what's the process that you go to help that landowner or property owner?
Well, it just starts with a phone call, and we'll put you in touch with one of our several very qualified, talented staff And we basically just come out and take a look with you and look at your issues and problems. And it can range from just a little bit of erosion at a residential home to a large stream bank erosion problem out in these rural areas. So the issues and challenges are all over the board, but we can help address a lot of them with our great staff. And it really just starts with that phone call, getting in touch with us, and we'll come out, we'll create a plan for your property. So we'll clearly kind of lay out what you need to do step by step. And there's also a lot of resources around us too. There's so many partners out here that can help us also help the landowner too. So we're all in this together, and it's just a great resource to take advantage of for free. So these are no cost plans that we can come out and do for landowners that live in the Beaver Lake watershed.
Do y'all actually physically get out there and make changes?
Yes, so we primarily work on public property. So if you see us out working along trails and parks and things, we do a lot of invasive species removals and planting native plants along, especially the greenway. The Razorback Greenway runs along a lot of creeks and streams here in Northwest Arkansas. And we do get out and plant large tree plantings out on landowner properties to establish riparian buffers, because they're really critical and really important for the watershed. But that's the beautiful thing about the Alliance, is it is a group of people coming together for clean water.
Any final thoughts?
Well, we just really appreciate this opportunity to share about the Alliance and how special Beaver Lake really is to Northwest Arkansas. We hope the folks of Bella Vista can get out here and enjoy it, maybe when it's a little warmer.
So this is a great alternative that people in Bella Vista do utilize.
And it's not too far.
And it's not too far.
Yeah.
It's the most pleasant drive here.
Yeah. And an important thing to remember is just it is our drinking water primarily. So when they're out here recreating or boating and enjoying the lake, just to keep that in mind. Just remember, it's our drinking water source, and we all share it. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Well, thank you very much. We're going to go have some hot cocoa maybe or something. That'll be great.
That'd be nice.
Our thanks to Becky Roark, Director of the Beaver Watershed Alliance, for coming out on this sunny, cold day. Now we're here with Alan Bland, who is considered the expert on all things Beaver Lake and Beaver Dam. Mr. Allen, thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
What's the history of Beaver Lake and the dam? Or Beaver Reservoir, I should say.
Reservoir. Yeah, well, it was actually two contractors started it in 1959, late 59. So it basically, we say, started in 60. We had our 50-year anniversary a few years ago. It took about 6 years from the start to the finish. Where we're standing here, behind us is our big rock quarry, where they quarry the rock out to help make the dam. And the dam was built in monoliths in each section, and there was like 24 different sections. And where we're standing here is a big bluff, limestone bluff, and kind of like they like to tie a dam into a bluff if they can, and that's what they did here. Kind of like a dentist filling tooth, they took out all the loose rock and they tied this side of the dam into the bluff. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty stable thing. And then the other side, there's 3 other dikes that connect to the dam. So it was finished officially in 66, the powerhouse, the switch yard. It was basically got to 1120 elevation, which is what everybody considers kind of like the full part, in 64. And everybody started fishing it, and as soon as the lake started, and all the rumor was it would take years for the lake to fill up, and it only took about 9 months. You get a few good rains, and it comes up, filled it up pretty quick.
Well, it certainly had a big impact, hasn't it, with the population growth of Northwest
without doubt,
Arkansas.
yeah. I mean, I remind people all the time, there's so many people that have jobs here because of the lake, and I give them a hard time, the reason you're here. Even the people at Buffalo River, I give them a hard time because the National Park Service, so why you have a job here? No, because we were going to put 2 dams on the Buffalo. Thankfully, we never did, and everybody got involved and saved the river to do that. But right now, over 600,000 people get their drinking water from this lake.
Right.
So it's 1 out of every 5th person in the state of Arkansas drinks this water. And we have 2 generators, big generators, 77,400 horsepower. There's 4 to install. We generate enough electricity here, they estimate, to power the city of Little Rock all year. And then, our water here goes into Table Rock, and they have 4 generators. And then it goes into Bull Shoals that has 8 generators, big generators.
And a lot of recreation opportunities out here as well.
Absolutely. This, we have 406 projects nationwide, the Corps of Engineers does. And not all of them are lakes or reservoirs. But out of all those, we're usually number 3 in the nation as far as visitation.
And a lot of good camping places as well.
Yeah, we have almost 700 campsites down here below the dam. We have some primo campsites. You can camp in the wintertime. Everybody loves to trout fish below the dam, or you can come up here above the dam and fish for a striper. We have 2 state records here. We have the striped bass at 68 pounds, and the paddlefish, which is a kind of a prehistoric looking fish. I think it was 134 pounds in the lake.
Are there, I'm sure there are intakes and outtakes on the lake.
Yeah, there's 4 now. We have to have 4. So the first was Beaver Water District. Their plant was over by Springdale, and then the second one was right up here by the dam, Carol Boone County, and the third one was Madison County Water Intake that does a lot of Beaver Lake, Rocket, the east side of the lake. And the last one was what we call the 2-ton, and people don't understand that. That means if you just think of Benton, T-O-N, and Washington, T-O-N, County, so it goes to all those towns on the west side of Washington and Benton County, and even into the edge of Oklahoma now. So water from Beaver goes from just a little ways past Harrison all the way into just a little bit of Oklahoma.
Well, it's certainly made a difference to all of Northwest Arkansas in many, many ways. So thank you, Mr. Allen.
Absolutely. Happy to do it.
Thank you very much.
You bet.
We're here with Daniel Hagood, Senior Ecologist with the Beaver Watershed Alliance. What is your role, and what does the Beaver Watershed Alliance do?
I'm the Senior Ecologist with the Beaver Watershed Alliance. So that is our mission statement, to protect, enhance, and sustain water quality.
Are there opportunities for the public, for volunteers, to help with your mission?
So that's a big part of what we do, is education and outreach to the general public. We host a lot of workshops throughout the watershed, a lot of volunteer events, volunteer planting events. Here where we are at Walker Park right now, had several volunteer events for invasive plant removal, and then removing those and then replacing those with more suitable native vegetation along the stream.
What are some of the invasive plants that you have to deal with?
Yeah, a really common one that everybody is probably around almost every day, bush honeysuckle, Chinese privet, there's winter creeper, and that's, me just looking around at the landscape we're around right now, looking at, we're surrounded by Chinese privet right now, and that's where a lot of the work that's being done kind of in this background is removing that privet and honeysuckle. So those are, I would say, the 2 most common in the area.
And what would you replace these trees with?
So things like buttonbush, witch hazel, all the way up to some of your bigger oak trees, native oak trees, white oaks, red oaks would be around in this area, and that's what's going to be kind of replanted and replacing a lot of this honeysuckle.
So if I want to volunteer, you would instruct me. You'd have a workshop or something for a group of volunteers, and I could learn how to plant trees, how to remove invasive species.
Yeah, and that's a workshop we had last week in Huntsville. That's kind of, it can be a 2-part workshop. So, we'll have maybe an hour-long in-class portion. We'll have guest speakers to talk about, why this work is important, kind of the instructional how-to and why for, a riparian area. And then we normally have, provide a free lunch and then go out to the site and kind of have a hands-on training with the planting of these trees and kind of the maintenance and what trees to plant where. So the classroom, then you can go out, and kind of apply what we've just talked about and have fun out in the field doing it.
What do they take away from the experience?
Hopefully a little bit of, everything. some knowledge, hopefully. Kind of the goal is to empower landowners, to have that knowledge and that confidence to take those practices and kind of that topic that we were discussing and apply that to their property. Or even, if you don't have that property to do it yourself, just to have that support and that knowledge to kind of support what's going on in your community. So I would say, empowering to do it yourself and just gaining knowledge to support what is going on around you, and just to know that that ties into water quality, to your drinking water.
So if someone wants to become a volunteer, how do they do that? Who do they contact?
Yeah. So I would say check out our website, Beaver Watershed Alliance. We have a Facebook and Instagram. A lot of times for specific workshops or volunteer events, we'll put out flyers throughout the community, as well as send out postcards. And then we also have on our website, you can sign up for our e-news, where you can get a monthly updates as well as emails about upcoming events.
So what's one of the challenges of the watershed?
So the stream we're looking at right now, it has a fairly low water level, but you can tell kind of from these cut banks and the erosion that's going on around that, during a rain event, definitely prone to flash flooding where water's going to raise up and cause all this erosion that we're looking at. And that kind of ties into the amount of water that is reaching the stream at an increased rate. So the work, riparian planting and the work that we're trying to promote can actually slow down that water, increase groundwater recharge, where you have a more delayed effect of water kind of seeping into a stream, and can even help kind of keep it hydrated for a longer period of time versus a shorter amount of time with a higher water level.
Thank you very much. It's been most informative, and thank you for all you do
Yeah, definitely.
for our drinking water.
And now we welcome Ayla Grace, project coordinator for H2 Ozarks. What is your role at H2 Ozarks?
Well, my role, like you said, is project coordinator. I coordinate efforts in the area to protect water within the watershed, within Beaver Lake watershed. I work primarily with volunteers with the Stream Smart program, doing monitoring across the watershed, checking out about 15 tributaries. I also work with landowners to work with them to meet their goals in terms of their land management, but in hand with that, we're protecting water quality. So.
How do you help a landowner with erosion or any type of pollutants? Is that one of the things that you do?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different conservation practices or land management practices that landowners can do. So we can do fencing, there's prescribed burning, putting in watering systems, just different things that help them meet their goals, because not a lot of landowners thinking specifically about water quality, but the things they do on their land and on any of the land is going to affect the water quality. So by helping them kind of do those things that they need, we're able to kind of second-handly protect the water.
Like sediment and erosion.
Yeah, sediment and erosion are definitely a big issue in Northwest Arkansas at this time. Obviously we have increasing urbanization, so we have a lot of people moving into the area, and when you have a lot of people moving into the area, it means the land has to change. And this happens in different ways. You have more houses, so there's more roofing, you have more parking lots, more roads. Also pasture land, you end up with more agriculture where you have more people. So all of these represent kind of areas that cause sedimentation and cause stuff to move differently into the waterways, because instead of water hitting the ground and infiltrating into it where it gets filtered and then ends up in our waterways, you see this faster runoff, and it takes everything from the land into the water. So more quickly moving water off the land means stuff goes more directly into our waters. So some of the land management practices help us kind of ease that situation.
And prevention is better than having to
Yes.
try and fix it after it's already.
Prevention is better than going back and trying to backtrack and fix things that are already in place. So that's an important process. Everything that goes into Beaver Lake has to be taken out of Beaver Lake in order for us to have good, healthy drinking water.
Does the water in Beaver change due to the seasons as well?
Yeah, there will be seasoning. There is a thermocline in Beaver Lake, and that's just a fancy word to say, as the temperatures change and water gets colder, at the top, the bottom layers will be different, and the different seasons, as the top layers change temperature, you end up with this kind of line. So you have a cold and hot, and then you'll end up with this turnover, and we've all kind of experienced this. You kind of start getting that taste in your Rogers water and stuff like that.
Are there opportunities for someone like me to help you with your mission?
Oh, 100%. It's critical. Like you said, prevention is better than fixing. So I think this is an important concept, and one that I feel is kind of easy to understand, is that, like I said, everything that happens upstream shows up downstream, but also everything that happens on the land and just all around us, in your yard, everywhere, is going to end up in the water at some point. So by doing things like storm drains, for example, and yard work, you've all probably seen like leaves put into the street side, and they just end up washing into our storm drains, or leaf clippings, stuff like that. Well, I think it's a common misconception that something happens to that water, but it really doesn't. Stuff goes into our drains, and it ends up going straight into Beaver Lake. So by doing stuff like washing those clippings, keeping them out of the storm drains, also minimizing fertilizer use on your lawns, or pesticide use is a big thing. Something as little as picking up animal waste, making sure you're picking up your dog's poop. I mean, it goes a long way, because if you don't, that runs off into our waters and eventually into Beaver Lake.
We're very grateful to Ayla Grace for being here today and helping us learn even more about how important our beaver watershed is to Bella Vista.
So we've been learning a lot about Beaver Reservoir and the organizations like Beaver Water Alliance and H2 Ozarks, and how they are helping to protect and preserve our water supply for a lot of Northwest Arkansas, but specifically in Bella Vista. How does our water get from Beaver Lake to Bella Vista?
Well, great question. So Beaver Lake is very important to all of Northwest Arkansas. So, almost every city in Northwest Arkansas gets their water from Beaver Lake, from Fayetteville to Bentonville, Bella Vista, all the way to Harrison, to Huntsville. So there is 4 water treatment plants on Beaver Lake, and we, Bella Vista, purchase our water. About 70% of it comes from the city of Bentonville, and the other 30% comes from Benton, Washington Regional Public Water Authority. So these treatment plants, they pump water out of the lake, raw water, to the treatment plant. They treat it to federal safe drinking water standards, and then they pump it to their customers, which is, the individual cities. And then some cities will then pump it to the next city. So they can have customers that are, essentially a wholesale customer. So kind of a sequence of pumps and water storage tanks moves the water all the way from Beaver Lake through the treatment plants to the cities. So, we have in Bella Vista, we have 7 booster pump stations throughout the system to help move water where we need it to be, so we can fill storage tanks like this one we have behind us, which is one of our non-water storage tanks. But along, with the operations, the pumps and the tanks, it's how we move water around to make sure we have capacity for everyone.
Nate, and you are Charlie Holt, and tell us about what your specific duties are with Bella Vista Water.
Sure. So I'm the Director of Water here at Bella Vista POA. So I oversee all of the operation, the maintenance, and construction for the water system. So, a lot of our day-to-day tasks as a water utility, we're fixing water leaks, we're installing new water services, we are reading meters, and doing a lot of different maintenance, as well as some, construction projects. So.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
This program has shared a lot of information, but the main takeaway is all of us can get involved with efforts to keep our watershed clean. A cleaner watershed directly affects the water you drink, the food you eat, and the health of our environment. By working together to reduce litter, properly dispose of waste, and protect natural areas, we can ensure our watershed is the best it can be.
Clean, safe water for drinking and recreation, not just in Bella Vista, but all of Northwest Arkansas, and for future generations. Your habits define our water.